All right, the Rangers stumbling a little bit as they try to nail down the conference and the President's Trophy, but they will play the Islanders, who need every win they could get, and that game is going to be tomorrow on ABC. And calling the play-by-play is our good friend Bob Wischusen, and that leads us into the hockey report brought to you by Samwell Institute for Pain Management. Yeah, we've got a hockey report now. Bob, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I miss you guys.
We miss you, too.
Miss you, too. That was nice.
That was really nice.
I guess we're going to miss you during the football season next year, too.
Why'd you go there, Peter?
See, that's not
I
right.
mean, I'll hear him just the same, but he's not. He won't be our guy anymore. It's not
He's
the
still
same.
our guy. Right, Bob?
Yeah. Then it'll be Stairway to Heaven and then Get Free Game.
Yep, there you go. There you go. Now, if you need any help whatsoever with the numbers of both teams, I can help you out with that. Don can help you if you haven't memorized the players.
I appreciate that. Appreciate the offer.
Why did the Islanders take until the end of the season to play their best hockey? Last year they did it. This year they're doing it again.
I don't know.
All right, good stuff.
Good stuff, Bob.
Moving right along.
Their special teams have been so bad all year that, to me, like the smaller sample size is what's happening right now with them. I'm not surprised that they're streaky. They've got some streaky players on their team. They've got plenty of talent. Don knows this, right? I mean, they've got guys that can score goals. But you can't win in bunches in the NHL if you can't, do well, I think, on special teams.
Right.
And to me, that's what made the Rangers so consistent all year, is their power play is so good, their penalty kill is so good. Like, the Rangers are an average team 5-on-5. I think after last night's game, I think they're dead even in their scoring to opponent scoring 5-on-5, which from a Rangers standpoint would worry me a little bit, that they're too power play dependent going into the postseason. But I think that success on special teams has just made them very consistent, and the Islanders have been bad all year on special teams. Hard to win in bunches that way.
Especially being 32nd on the kill, Bob. That's gonna oust them
Correct.
at some point, because
Dead last.
when you get that kind of skill in the postseason, teams are going to be able to take advantage of that. But you kind of picked at a scab that a lot of Ranger fans are concerned about, and that is the 5-on-5 play. They, third best power play, third best penalty kill, great come from behind team, but they get into a series where they're going to have to be reliant on even strength play. They're average, and you hope that maybe Philip Hedl might be able to contribute to that. In case you missed it, he's going to come back, and he looks like he might be ready for the postseason, which is certainly going to help them at the center position. But is that going to be enough if they get into a series against a Panther team or a Carolina team where they're responsible, they're not going to give you too much? Is this team going to be able to win a series if it's going to be a 5-on-5 type of game?
I don't know. What happened to them last year?
Exactly.
Right? They didn't go too far.
Well,
and they were very similar last year. They were super power play dependent. You get to the postseason against better teams, they take less penalties. You're right. And look, Philip Hedl is a really nice player, but there has to be a rust factor. He was there last year. It's not like all of a sudden you're injecting some players that they didn't have last season. So look, they're supremely talented. This sport, like any sport, is about difference makers. They have them. Zibanejad, Panarin, Fox, Kreider in the net front. I mean, even Lafreniere has become a true difference maker. So they can beat anyone, but 5-on-5 is a concern. That is a viable concern against, especially, as you said, against more disciplined teams in the playoffs.
Well, the only thing I would disagree with the addition of Hedl is you might be right, Hedl himself, but what Hedl allows you to do, if I could put a Wenberg at my fourth line center, if I can move Roslovic down, I think I can round 4 legitimate lines that possibly can score 5-on-5 instead of maybe 2.5 without Hedl.
Yeah, and that probably helps you 5-on-5.
Right.
You deeper, no doubt. Look, he's a really talented player. What will he have after this kind of an absence? How effective will he be? I mean, I'll be as curious as anybody to see that.
So this is a 12:30 game, right? I might have said 3.
Yes.
It's 12:30.
12:30. It's the first game of a triple header on ABC.
I'm looking forward to it.
Apparently, Bob, shocked silence from Michael on the triple header.
I mean, triple headers excite me. You know how I feel about sports. I love triple headers.
That's a good promo. The company appreciates it.
Let me ask you something about the Jets, Bob. Do you believe they should take Bowers with the 10th pick, or should they take an offensive lineman?
If it were me, I would still lean offensive line.
Even though Bowers is considered to be so
tackles,
special?
I guess, question, and look, this is the argument that they'll have, and it's an awesome argument around that conference table, and there'll be voices on both sides of it. A lot of it depends on which tackles are there. Their consensus opinion of those tackles are they could potentially trade down and still get a tackle. But are they all going to realistically be able to look at each other and say, are the two starting tackles we have penciled in right now going to both play 13 or 14 games each or less? I mean, there's almost no way that those two guys get through the whole season without missing some time. That would be amazing. If Wischusen and Smith made it all the way through the year and both played like DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, Nick Mangold, 17 games each, and they were just rocks on the offensive line, it'd be amazing. That'd be great. That would be the best possible outcome. It's hard to imagine happens, and easy to imagine that one of them misses a lot of time. Right? That's what you're really concerned about is one of them gets an injury that knocks him out for 6 or 7 weeks. So I don't know. To me, having another tackle, it's almost like starting pitching. I mean, we'll look at their offensive line over the last few years. They've never been able to have enough of those guys to try and protect Aaron Rodgers.
Bob, is Zach Wilson on this team in 2024? And if not, what's the exit strategy?
I can't see that. Myself, I'd be very surprised. And I think they would be doing him a favor just giving him a change of address. I mean, you bring Tyrod Taylor in, obviously, to be the backup. So if Zach's on the team, then you're carrying automatically a third quarterback who's making a decent amount of money still. I don't know. And really, I mean, is he going to play at all? No. Like Tyrod Taylor would obviously be the quarterback that would play if Aaron Rodgers hopefully doesn't get hurt, but got hurt for a period of time. So I think they try and trade him as much as they can, and maybe they release him if they can't trade him to someone for, a late conditional pick. I don't know any other scenario that makes sense.
Well, here's what I would go back with, though, Bob. We're talking with Bob Wischusen here on the Michael K. Show. If you don't trade him and you don't get rid of that salary, I'm not releasing him and paying the salary. I'll keep him as the third quarterback. Well, why do I have to do him any favors? If you're going to pay him anyway, might as well be on the team.
Yeah, and I guess you could go that way. I just don't know that that's healthy for either party. But
I didn't know you were Gandhi.
That would give him the ability to do what we all thought was the best case scenario this past year.
Right.
And that is stick behind Aaron Rodgers and learn. But, you wonder at this point, could he ever really confidently step out in front of that fan base again and play?
I mean, that's the thing, Bob.
And that's really hard to see.
If he's on the team, you know how it works with quarterbacks of the Jets. There's a very good likelihood he's going to play again. And you can't do that to anybody.
Bob, are you allowed to admit to us, seeing that you're the voice of the team, that if we had one of those weeks again where Zach is starting and we go in circles and have the same conversation about maybe this is the week that Zach really shows us something, that you're going to throw up in your mouth a little bit? Can you say that?
I would say that there have been a lot of times where you're right. You sat there and you wondered, like that Chiefs game or the Eagles, like, is this the light switch turned on game for him? And he was never able to follow that up with performances that said the light switch turning on was anything more than just a one-off. And you've got to be able to play at this level one-offs. I mean, you got to be able to string performances together. And unfortunately, he has not been able to do that. Has he always had the best hand dealt to him? Well, no Jet quarterback has. But like when you compare the hand that was dealt to Zach Wilson to the hand that was dealt to Sam Darnold, it's not even close. Like, Sam Darnold's best skill position player for his last 2 years with the Jets was Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson would get cut by the Jets now. And he was the best skill guy they had.
True.
So Sam really was out there all by himself. I mean, there was never one time where Sam was tossing a ball to a Breece Hall or throwing a slant to a Garrett Wilson. I mean, he never even had a Tyler Conklin. So, to me, the fact that Zach has had two of the brightest young offensive stars in the NFL for basically his whole time here and has never been able to provide consistent performances, it just kind of spells the end of his time with the Jets to me. I would think he would be best served, and they'd probably be best served if he just ended up in a different spot.
All right, take me through tomorrow before we let you go. I know you have the biggest state in New Jersey, but you have a 12:30 game. Do you stay in the city tonight so that you can get to the Garden early, or are you going to make that drive from the biggest state in Jersey?
I mean, I could take the train to this game. People do this every day. This is a commute. I don't take this for granted, too. I am not in an airport. I am not in a hotel right now.
Right.
I'm in my house, and I'm doing a game for ESPN tomorrow. I mean, not long ago, I'd be spending my, winter and early spring Saturdays in Lubbock, Texas, and Ames, Iowa. So this is amazing.
So you'll be at the estate. You will not be doing the hotel today, so you're closer to the Garden.
Yeah, like I've let the guys at the guard shack out on the perimeter know I'm going to be staying in tonight. So they're going to. I think they're going to allow the DoorDash driver to come through the gate to deliver my dinner. But outside of that, I'm going to keep it quiet tonight.
Beautiful.
Wow. Did you get tickets to Fish at the Sphere?
No.
Oh, you sound down.
I'm working.
Yeah. No.
I'm working.
How many dates did they do?
They're going to do 4.
Just 4.
And you're working every one of the 4?
Well, I mean, it's the weekend in between the end of the NHL regular season and the beginning of the playoffs. So I have a game Thursday night in Minnesota, and then Friday morning fly home and basically find out either Friday or Saturday where I go. Because we don't even know yet. We haven't been told even what our assignments are or what series we're covering. So,
well, if you want to go, I'm willing to fill in for you.
Vegas.
Wow.
What a guy.
And you could talk to Jim Dolan tomorrow if you see him and say, can you add a show when I'm not working?
Well, he's nice enough to schedule over Christmas time, usually when I can squeeze one in, like around New Year's.
Right.
But this is playoff time.
Yeah.
And you got to be locked in.
Even though we're going to see you, we're going to miss you, Bob.
I appreciate it.
Well, you're going to miss. Why are we going to this? Are we going to see Fish?
No, but I'm just saying that in all seriousness, we were connected, the Jets and this radio station, for 20 years. Now, I'll see Bob. I know Bob. I knew Bob before ESPN even existed as a radio station in New York.
And you'll probably know when it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Right.
But I'm just saying that there is a connection that I was very proud of. 16 years I work with this man, and for the connection to be severed, it's something. So I'm just saying I'm going to miss that. We're still good, but there's a connection that has been severed.
Wow.
No doubt. I mean, at any point, I would love to come in and hang out with you guys. Michael and I, from what I understand, can get together and we can both drink with our children now, which is something that's fun to be able to do. So can't recommend that enough. There's a lot of still very solid connection points between me and you guys.
Well, none with Peter, though.
What?
There's no connection with Peter.
What do you mean?
What's your connection?
Peter's more than welcome to drink with us and our children, as far as I'm concerned, whenever he wants.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Bob, have a great call tomorrow.
Thanks.
And enjoy the DoorDash.
See you guys.
That's the Hockey Report brought to you by Samwell Institute for Pain Management. For a pain-free life, visit SamwellPain.com today. Here's what I'm going to tell you what I think just happened, and I want to know if you guys agree. Mm-hmm. I think Bob heard that he was going to talk for 12 minutes, and he gave us nothing. I think he stiffed us because we were joking around, and he did not give us his best Wischusen.
You're disappointed? You're now complaining?
That's a serious allegation.
Well, you know what? We'll pick it up when we come back, but I think that's clearly what he was doing because he's quick on his feet and he's giving 1 or 2 word answers. I think he was sticking it to us. That's what he was doing.
I cannot.
You know what, Michael?
Sign on that.
Michael, I think you need help.
Okay.
And speaking of help, this message is brought to you by